Hello everyone, welcome to video lecture on software architecture and design pattern, module 2, analysis of a system. This is the class diagram for hold. So here the above row we can take it as a class diagram name, that is the hold, then followed by methods here. Member, return type is the member. Book is the return type is the again book. Date, return type is the calendar, and the respective methods followed by this in the hold class. Hold, member, book, date, calendar. So it is the type hold. So different methods are here. Get member, so the type is the member. Get book, type is book. Get date, again calendar. So E is valid, which you are going to check the boolean values whether the when a customer want to hold it, so we need to check whether it is a valid date or not. So class diagram for hold usually accessor here: get member, get book, get date. The class diagram hold is a valid method. So we check is always checking for the valid method, which checks the whether certain hold is still valid date or not. So this is about a class diagram for hold. So the next is class diagram for transaction. So we know that transaction, so and the customer or user duration is required here, how many days. So the main class diagram, the name is class transaction, and main thing is here we need to take it as book and date, because how many days transaction need to be required and which book title. So that is the main thing we need to take it in the this class diagram. So here a date, calendar, book title, return type is string type. Another type of this transaction means string type. So on date is required boolean, get type and get title and get date. So get date is the and the main thing in the transaction details. So now note that here, so we have to store the data for each transaction, like 1 week, 1 month, or specified duration of the customer or the user specified date. So we need to choose an appropriate type of this attribute. For example, in the Java utility packet, that is the class calendar. Class calendar we need to choose it in the proper class diagram. So there, that is the class calendar that provides the whatever needed functionality. So whatever the functionality is needed, so that should be taken by the this class diagram. So this is about the transaction details of the class diagram. So next we need to talk about user interface. So as discussed earlier, our user interface UI provides a menu. We know that with the following options. We had all discussed with class diagram. So we had discussed with the use case. We had discussed with the sequence diagram. So once again we will revisit this. What and all we had, that user interfaces: add a member, add books, issue books, return books, renew books, remove books, place a hold on a book, remove hold on a book, process holds, print a member transaction on a given date, save the data for long-term storage. Similarly, here retrieve a data from storage, and 0 indicates that exit and another indicates that help. So initially the system will display all the menus. We know that the user can enter the number from actually 0 through 13, so indicating all the operations. Here operation 0 and the number 13, so which will be used to exit the entire system and display the whatever help on the screen. So that's when the number we have taken, that menu number. So because that we have taken in all the user interfaces. So that 0 indicates that we need to exit the entire system, because if we are in the sequence or class diagram or any use case diagram, that we need to exit in the entire library system. 13 means which will give the help to the all the other things. So that we need to parameters which are required for the operation will be prompted. So the result of the operation is then displayed. So all input or output so will be via simple text interface. So that is the we had discussed about all these user interface with the following we had discussed the following options, so like 0 to 13 or 1 to 12, and after that 0 and 13. So next we need to speak about in the data storage. So before going to our actual implementation, so we need to just discuss with briefly discussing with the data storage. So what will be the data storage and how we are going to take it. So this is about data storage. Ultimately, so most application will need to store the data. We know that on a long term basis, in case of in a full blown system, or data is usually stored in a database, and this is managed by the DBMS, database management system. We know that. So to avoid disgracing, however, we will adopt a simple approach to store a data on long term basis. So how we can take it as a long term storage, and recall that we had decided to include the following. So we know that we had already discussed with the user interface command. There are two commands will be given here. One is a command to save the data on long term basis. Another one is a command to load the data from a long term storage device. There are two options are available how we can take this, or how we can store the data into the our permanent basis. So when the first command is executed, whenever any command in the user interface UI, usually what we do, so we will copy all the data into secondary storage, so that is the permanently we can store the data. Similarly, when the second command is executed, the data stored on the storage device is copied to recreate the object. So the first command says that all the data, once the command initially first command executed complete, the we will copy of all data into the secondary storage. Once we need to copy it in a permanent basis, then whenever the second command executed, what will happen here, data stored on the device is copied to a create object. So whenever the second time when we are pressing button or execute the particular second command, already data available in the second storage, which will copy or create an object to the further user. So this is the brief description about data storage. So next we will discuss our main one part, that is the after the sequence diagram, user interface, use case diagram, sequence diagram, class diagram, and about what is the functionality requirement, and assigning the responsibility to the particular classes. Then we are need to go with how we are going to implement it. So after the sequence diagram, sequentially one after the another, how the process is going on in the library, simple library management system. Then we had a class diagram, how the class main class, name of the class, and the respective methods will be used, what and all method will be used, how we are going to next implement. So that is our next task is implementing our design. So there we need to see the first setting up the interface because any implementation first interface is the must. Without interface we cannot take anything. So we'll see that next slide, going to see that implementing our design. Implementing our design. Actually in this phase we code, test and debug the classes that implement the business logic, that we have taken an example. Simple library management system, that is the books. Mainly the library, the main product what we are taking, that is the book. How we can take the book, issue book, add book, demo book, all that. So the main, our main role is the book here, and the and user interface. So here another thing, another an important issue in the implementation, actually communication via return values between the different classes. That is the main important issue in while implementing this the complete library management system. Actually, in particularly between the library and the UI, user interface, library has several methods in that return int values, integer type, and these values must be interpreted by the actual user interface. A separate named constant like that declared for the each of these outcome we have taken in that public static final int. So because this is the because issues will be taken, the return type is the main book not found and book issued. So this is the main, because we need to declare it very fast. So equal to 1 and 2, that we have taken. Why? Because separate named constant declared for each of these outcome, right? Just this these are declared in the library initially, because not found is required and not issued also the main return type int. So this is the, we need to know that how we implementing. So that is the before implementing the design part. So next we will discuss setting up the interface. So the next part, setting up the interface. So here now we are actually ready to complete our development by writing the code. So we are ready to write the code, but what will be the interface setting, how we can do it. So this is the actually the main part in the implementation. The main program resides in the class, we already know that, that is the user interface. All the main class, where it can be stored, where it is reside. So when the program is executed like that, that is the main program, main programs. So whenever that main program is executed, an instance of the user interface is created. This is actually the, we need to stress in the before going to the actual implementation part of all the what we had all the menus. So this is the, we need to know that where exactly the implementation does it. So here when the main program, so which resides in the UI, user interface, when we execute that one, an instance of the user interface is created, that is called as a singleton. So this is the mainly we need to concentrate before going to actual our implementing design part in the library management system. So this is the thing here, public static void main. We know that a singleton class that we have taken as UI dot instance method dot process, instantly it will create a user interface, that we need to take. And user interface public static interface here, if there is a condition, they here one condition we need to check. If condition, if user interface UI equal to null, so this is the condition we need to take as per that our declaration purpose. So return UI equal to null. So return user interface is equal to new user interface, so that when this condition is true, so a return type will be writing in this code. So usually that will by default it will create user interface, else so return user interface. So otherwise it will create then user interface or return simply the user interface. So this is we need a private with that we how we can going to check that. A private constructor check the serialized version of the library object. Later we will discuss what is serialized and deserialized versions of the in the Java. So we assume that it is stored in the field library data. Just we have to assume that. For example, the file class Java is a convenient mechanism to check the existing of the file. We know that the user always given an option to retrieve the serialized version of the library object. So we will explain it later how the problem safely which combining serialization in singleton class using singleton class. So in any case here now user interface gets an instance of library that we need to note it, because setting up the interface, that is the initial task. How we can do it, implementation task, private user interface, and what and all the file, all the details will be taken. Okay, so here private user interface and library data. If file dot exist and because and operator will be used, file dot can read. So if that condition true, again one more if condition we need to take. If yes or no, save data exit dot use it question mark. So you can then only we can retrieve the in case of if the data present, user interface gets an instance of library, data can be retrieved here. So library is equal to library dot instance. So finally data will be issued in the following way. So next we can go with further what is the communication or whatever the design part. So here following this process, method of user interface which is executed, so which always serialize the what is that one loop that provides the user with a list of the code snippet is given below. So now we need to talk about what is the code snippet. So here thing is one, actually the following process we need to take it at all the data is given here. The code snippet user interface, whenever it is executed, which initialize a loop which provides the user interface option. Here first one is public static void process. Okay, so next variable declaration, we have taken command is a return command is a integer type here. Then another one method will be we have taken is help method. Okay, while, so while command equal to get command, so this is the get command is the method, get command is a method not equal to exit. So this is the while condition, while we have taken with a different switch case here. Command equal to get command equal to exit. So it is meaning that when you while condition says that we are taking the switch of command. Okay, case 1, case 2, case 3. Here case is add member. So initially we know that in the actually user interface, so whenever the initially executed, we know that we had seen in the use case diagram, sequence diagram, similarly class diagram. So first very first we had seen all the adding a member, or you can say the registering the membership registration, or whatever you can call it as add member. So here the case one is add member. What we say that add member method. So this we had seen in the sequence diagram and class diagram, and the followed by add member method. So that we need to take because this is the case studies where how we can take break. We know that a case switch case statement will always the break semicolon here. Next case add book. This is the we had in that what is that one, how you are going to add the book in the sequence diagram. Similarly we had seen in the class diagram add book methods will be there in the sequence diagram also. So the same thing we had copied in the class diagram, that is our class diagram. So add books, so add books here, that code of list of options that user provides there with a list of options will be add book again break. So next is followed by what is that one, case. another case 1 2 again case, so we can give the case number case 1, case 2, case 3, whatever that is our ways to we can give it. So issue the book. So here issue the book, issue the book method, issue book method will be taken in the again break. So here one comment line is given. So what is that? Several lines of code not shown because only snippet. I told that this is the code snippet of what is the process of method of user interface executed. So we are discussing about what is that one user interface. Whenever the user interface executed, how that code will be showing that. So this is the one snippet we have taken, not complete code. That's why the comment we had taken a comment. Several lines of code are not shown in the this entire coding part, because only snippet part is there, because this is the public void process part. So that command one variable we had taken, and another method we have taken help. So that is the methods we have here. Help method, help of this one, help method always displays the options, all the options we had seen. I told that one, the what is that one, user interface menus of we have taken 0 to 13, that 13 number is the 0 is the exit and 13 is the help. So here help method displays all the options with corresponding numeric choices. In addition to that, in addition to the method for each of the menu items, so that we had seen in that one. So that is the user interface also has method get token, we know that, get number, so also we know that, get date, get command. So these are the user interface also has the methods, different methods for reading the user interfaces. Here one examination of the sequence diagram we have which shows that the need to query actually the user in multiple situation. For example, yes or no, we had seen in the previous slide, yes or no in different questions, because that we can see in the sequence diagram. So that is the available in sequence diagram. For this we have also coded a method yes or no with a parameter. We can say the string is the parameter to prompt the user. Okay, so we can now follow our sequence diagram to implement the method. So some of these we are going to explain, not completely. So actually in the sequence diagram, actual sequence diagram, so we had all the available menus we had taken in the sequence diagram, all the available menus. But in the actual implementation of our own implementing design, actually design part, after setting up the interface, after setting up the interface, that is the very important part. That's why we have taken here only the pu add member, book member, so like that. So whatever we have, all the data, all the method, sequence method, so that will be available. So simply we have taken only the setting up part of this this the user interface. Then we need to discuss about our actual implementation, what we are going to discuss in the actually the next video, adding new book. So that we need to take the add actually book methods in the user interface. Again, that is the not a complete code, snippet of code will be discussed, not complete code, not complete code. And another method in the next implementing the design part, actual design part is issuing book. So issuing the books, again issuing the, once again issuing the user interface get with the member id and all details. Issuing the book, all the possibilities of the, attend all possibilities of the implementation, again snippet of code will be discussed in the next coming slides. Okay, and the print transaction, then One is the details about how we are going to discuss the print transaction and placing and processing hold. So this also will be discussed in the next implementing our design part, placing and processing hold, how we are going to referencing the one object to the another, place and hold of the this one. So that is the about discussion. After that, storing and retrieving the library object about Java serialization and storing of data and maintaining of the actually singleton properties, how we are going to maintaining singleton property, serialized version of library management system, this is Java. Actually a pitfall is using the singleton classes, serialization versus Java with the singleton classes, dealing with the static field and the non-static field. So after that, the next part is the discussion of and further reading. So the next our discussion, so implementing our design, that is the code of snippet will be discussed in the further slides. Adding new books, issuing books. Again, one more important is print transactions, placing and processing holds. So that will be discussed in the coming slides.